All right, welcome.
Are we recording already?
Yeah, because you were laughing and I wanted to get it.
Welcome. Oh, you sneaky. Oh, how dare you.
Because I had a sip of my evening water and I said I was getting a buzz and you were laughing because I already said I had a buzz.
Because you took two
I literally took like 2 sips of it.
You make yourself a potent martini.
I guess. God, thank you. First of all, Paul ran up. Thank you, whoever deemed the liquor store an essential business. I don't know if that was Mayor Garcetti or Governor Newsom, but
I wonder if they fall under because they sell, some
they
food
also
there as
sell
well.
you can get a quart of milk. Or,
Yeah. I wonder if they fall under some category.
You can get your Mega Millions ticket there, which, because we got to keep some things going.
We got to keep gambling.
So anyway, thank you, Paul, who ran up the street and got me the Teee-Toes.
Just so people know, I was taking a walk. I did not go there.
He was doing a mental health walk.
Yes.
Which we are instructed to do.
Yeah. And so we walk around the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I meet some nice dogs.
Meet some dogs.
Today, all the dogs barked at me.
Oh, they were hungry.
You think that's what it was?
Yeah. Yeah. It was like dinner time. It was like dinner.
Dinner time? You don't know when these dogs get fed.
I don't know.
So I was out walking, mm-hmm. and then Janie texted me and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm Paul. I don't know. Do we have to? I don't know.
I'm Janie.
People know if they're listening to this, they've seen the description of it.
Paul's a comedian. I'm an actor. Well, you're everything, really.
It's true. I'm a polymath.
You're sort of like you're a real hyphenate, as they say in the biz.
I'm an entertainer.
Are you a hyphenate?
I guess so.
Am I a hyphenate?
Yeah.
Oh, I am.
You're an actor and a writer.
Very weekly.
Not a podcaster as well.
Oh, God. I did used to have a podcast before this. Some listeners don't know.
Do you know what? We should do podcast recommendations at the end. Podcasts, because we both have podcasts that we've done before, and then we have other ones that we are listening to that we can recommend.
Wasn't going to recommend mine.
Yeah.
But
well, we'll get into that. So on the way back.
Anywho, that's Paul. I'm Janie.
So on the way back from
we're married. We're quarantined. Go
that's
ahead.
Right.
Okay.
So on the way, are you really? What happened to you?
I just had this.
You had one sip of that drink.
This Teee-Toes. By the way, they are making hand sanitizer, so shout out to Teee-Toes Vodka. Okay,
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that at the liquor store actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me. You chatted with the.
No. I eavesdropped on a conversation two other people were having.
Tell me.
They said that Teee-Toes is making hand sanitizer.
Oh. That's it. So anyway, he's out on his walk. And
did you think like someone was going to talk about their divorce? I poisoned him, and now I'm rich.
And then you didn't tell me.
Yeah, that's true.
That would have been like you really
wasn't my news to tell.
Sat on that nugget. Okay, but I was like, he's out on his walk, and I was like, oh dang it, I forgot to pick up some liquor for them from my pandemic shop, and then you showed up at home about a half an hour later. With it.
I took a detour.
It was romantic.
It's very romantic. Love in the time of plague.
Love in the time of Corona. That's the thing. That's
right.
Love in the time of Corona.
That's right. And what?
Oh, I wanted to hear your and. Yes.
Oh, but did you make a little noise?
I did.
What was your little noise?
I was saying speaking of. And I was going to pivot, but now I don't want to do it.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want to tell people that Janie does, if we're at a restaurant and she orders a martini, she does say Teee-Toes.
It's Teee-Toes. What do you call it? Teee-Toes?
No, I don't call it Teee-Toes.
You have titty vodka?
What happened to you? My God.
What do you call it?
I say Teee-Toes, like
Teee-Toes.
everyone says. But you say Teee-Toes.
Teee-Toes.
Do you know who you remind me of when you say that?
Who?
Is the lady, the lady who played the landlady on Bosom Buddies.
Really?
Yeah, she was an old Southern lady.
Who was that actress?
I can't remember her name.
It wasn't Holland Taylor was in that.
No, it was not Holland Taylor.
Oh,
she was
okay.
their boss at the advertising agency.
Oh.
But this was an old lady. She was very funny.
Uh-huh.
And
Ooh,
she would have also pronounced it Teee-Toes.
Well, when you're in a loud, noisy restaurant, you've got to finish your stop plosives. You know what I mean? You got to complete the stop plosives.
That's right. That's why I order a pot roast.
Pot roast. Pot roast
I'll have
Teee-Toes.
the pot roast?
Teee-Toes. Pot roast Teee-Toes.
Are these shared plates?
Plates. I went to drama school, y'all.
It's true. You have a degree in theater.
I sure do. I mean, there is a toilet paper shortage, and I have it hanging in the office if we need it, because that is about all it has got. It's funny. You go to drama school, you get out. You're like, I have a master's degree.
They say you only do 2 days in drama school.
The day you go in and the day you... yeah. And it's worth nothing. Mm-hmm. It's worth nothing.
Well, you're saying the degree itself is worth nothing.
The experience was everything
of course.
To me at the time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get you any purchase in the industry. Nobody, I think there was a time in New York where if you had a master's from one of these whatever schools, that you would get called into rooms because of it.
When do you think that was?
Maybe in 1817 or something, because my timing was way off. I don't know. Any hoozles.
But it is... do you think it matters in the theater?
No.
No, not even there?
I don't know.
Certainly television and movies, nobody's looking like, oh, you have a degree.
Oh, hold for
that?
airplane. I don't know. We're in a house.
Fighter jets over our home.
There were weird helicopters out front earlier. Did you see them?
No. Weird in what way?
They weren't the popo.
Were they black? Black helicopters?
No, they were greenish, but not camo.
Recycling helicopters?
Maybe. Well, they're sending that Navy hospital ship off the coast of California to house beds.
I did not know that.
Ventilators and such.
Should we talk about how we got price gouged for toilet paper?
Oh, and that will segue into this.
Yes. On Nextdoor.
Wink, wink. You don't know what I'm saying.
On Nextdoor, we got a tip that there was this sort of dollar store type place that was selling. They had plenty of toilet paper and plenty of, as they put it, wipes.
Oh, yeah, the baby
it was
wipes.
Wipes spelled with an H.
The baby wipes.
They have many baby wipes.
They also said they had all that hand sanitizer.
Yeah, which I didn't see.
It was not a dollar store. It was a $10 store.
Okay. Well, it was a dollar store type place. I didn't mean that it was actually
Correct.
everything was $1.
But it's
when
important
we
to
get
say
there,
that
yes, because when we got there, there was a roll. It was what, a 4-pack of toilet paper?
It was a 6-pack.
6-pack.
I'd like to point out that the actual toilet paper itself is very loosely rolled. Very loosely rolled.
Yeah. This might be a homemade. We're not familiar with the brand.
Yeah. It may be manufactured in Wuhan.
But we...
For all I know.
But we paid way too much money for it. And we just did it because we thought...
how much we paid?
It's embarrassing.
We bought a pack. We bought 2 packs.
We bought 2 packs.
4. Well, and we bought 2 packs because it was allowed and there was a lot of it.
Yes.
And when I say we bought 2 packs, because it's loosely rolled, think of it as a half of 1 pack.
Yes. We did not know this at the time.
We don't know this brand. This brand that the $10 store carries. And we paid $8 a pack.
Yeah.
To be fair, under $10, like the title of the store.
It's true. But it was a weirdly humiliating experience that we went through. We knew what we were doing as we were doing it.
Trauma.
We shouldn't be doing this, but we did it.
Trauma.
It did feel like trauma. And then there was that old lady who came up to us, got very close to us.
Close talker.
Was saying, I was at Food for Less and they
at
had
Walmart
it for much
for
less.
$4.99 at Walmart. And I'm like,
plenty of it. I'm like, why are you here?
You think I'm going to get in the damn car and drive to the Walmart just to find out that they sold out of those $4.99 toilet papers? Because that was not what I was instructed to do. I was supposed to do essential errands and get the F home.
Yes, we took our marching orders from nextdoor.com and we got it done.
Well, anyway, this segues us into this week's sponsor.
Oh, that's true. So our friends and neighbors, Catherine and Mike,
they're the best.
They were early adopters of our podcast.
Big time early adopters, big fans.
And
the feeling is mutual.
They were kind enough to drop off at our home. I missed them when they visited. I was in the office I think I was rehearsing for the Thrilling Adventure Hour show.
Oh, that's right. You were getting ready for that Zoom show you did.
Yeah, we did a live. I am part of a show called the Thrilling Adventure Hour that was a podcast and a live show in Los Angeles for over a decade. And it was retired a few years ago. And then we brought it back out to do a live streaming show. We were all on Zoom. Mm-hmm. And we raised money for the LA and New York food banks. That's awesome. And we're probably going to do it again at some point soon. So anyway, I missed when they came by. And we have two chairs out front in our front yard.
They're probably like 8 feet away from the front stoop.
So we can visit with people.
So we have some distance visiting chairs. If you're able to do this, not everyone is because they live in urban, densely populated areas.
Yes.
But if you have like a neighborhood like we live in where it's just like flat lawns and basically the neighborhood looks like, what is that Jim Carrey movie?
Are you The Truman Show?
It looks like that, but
smaller,
uglier, closer together.
Yeah, we have like a little postage stamp front lawn.
Yeah, but we know our neighbors. We're friends with people in this neighborhood. There's a lot of industry people that live here, and they're like all our age and stuff. So they came by with their dog Georgie, and they decided to sponsor this episode, and they drew this wonderful certificate of sponsorship. If you want to see it, you're going to have to follow at stayfhomekins on Instagram.
Yes, we'll post pictures. Yeah. There was a little, now they brought us a roll of toilet paper and a bottle of wine.
And the roll of toilet paper had a heart sticker on it.
Which was very precious.
Yeah.
A little bit of a scandal with the wine.
It was.
I didn't realize the idea was we would drink it while we were recording the podcast.
Did that have to be explained?
What did you say?
Did it have to be explained? It seemed sort of like...
I guess I didn't intuit that.
Well, listeners, guess what? Paul drank the wine.
I did.
Without his co-host and co-pilot.
I did. With the wine.
Quarantine buddy.
Isn't it funny when we got married? We weren't even picturing this when we did our vows.
No. We thought we'd never collaborate on anything.
I meant the... I meant the global pandemic.
We said in sickness and in health.
But when you say in sickness, you're thinking like, one of us will get cancer or something.
The betrotheds add pandemic in your vows now.
Yeah, if you are engaged, absolutely put it in there.
Get it in there.
Because you might think twice about it when the hour arrives. You might say, you know what? Now that you mention it, I'm out.
Isn't it funny? Because, so next month is our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Oh God, that's right. What are we going to... Do you think we're still going to be... We are. We're going to be stuck in here.
Yeah, we're going to be here. So, and isn't it funny how, like, a couple months ago, we were like, we should do something real different for year 10. Like, we should go, I don't know, stay somewhere, like a little staycation or something.
Every idea that we had was there's no way we could do it. We talked about traveling. We talked about having a party.
We were like, let's recreate our wedding and invite Paul had this idea, which was kind of like, there were some flaws. Because you were like, we know so many people that we didn't know 10 years ago.
Yeah, the people that are in our lives now
that didn't get invited to our wedding. And we should have like a recreation party, but just invite those people.
To be fair, I never said recreation. This is maybe what you were picturing that I had in mind.
What did you call it then?
I don't know. I don't know if I called it a vow renewal or something like that, but something along the lines of that.
Okay, and also got
everyone would wear their wedding costumes.
Do you think also you can't renew your vows at 10 years? It has.
Why can't you?
It's just kind of a thing. You have to be longer in. 10 years is
I think 10 years is impressive. A lot of people don't make it to 10 years.
Maybe.
It's also, I think celebrating on the decades makes sense.
Okay.
You make a big deal out of the decades.
Sure, your birthday is because you know how I feel about birthdays. I don't like them. I think decades only. I'm a decades only.
The milestones.
The milestones. But I don't consider the 5s a milestone. I consider the 0s a milestone.
I really do think, but look, we did this when we were younger too, is that every birthday you would get people together, you'd have some kind of bar hang or whatever. But after a certain point, you stop doing that. But I think the big birthdays are, as an adult, 21.
For sure, 21.
30, 40, 50. The decades after that.
Deaf.
That's it.
Most deaf.
After 21, it goes to decades.
Yeah.
And no one should give a shit about your birthday in between.
No.
Your friends, of course. But you have I think you have a small.
Unless you have a near-death experience or something where you're I made it to 38. And when I was 37, everyone thought I was going to die.
You know what? Fair enough.
Wait, maybe
I'll grant you that one.
Post-corona, we all should celebrate the birthday.
Yes. Everyone, after this is over, everyone should make a huge deal out of their birthday. You know what? That's absolutely fair.
Anywho,
stop saying that.
I don't know. Listen.
You don't say that.
I don't know. I'll text it.
That's different. The way you text is so much different than the way you are in your life.
Well, okay, this is making me laugh because we got a write-up during the week.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And the guy who was nice to mention us, by the way, thank you to
I can't remember the name of the writers from Fast Company.
Fast Company.
Yeah.
And he said something oh, they're entertaining or whatever, but elevated, or if not a little elevated or something. And then I got so many texts from my friends that were laughing about that because maybe we're on all the time or something. By the way, I don't like when people are on all the time.
It's true. You don't.
But but here's the deal. Here's the irony. Maybe I'm on all the time.
No, but you're not.
Do you know what I mean?
I do, but you're not. What he's saying, it's slightly elevated because, of course, we're talking into microphones.
Oh, and also we're scared.
There's that, too.
Dude, Fast Company, guess what? We're experiencing anxiety and the unknown.
Guess what, Fast Company?
Fast Company, thanks for noticing.
Hey, you know what? Fuck you for saying we're elevated.
Well, now it sounds like a weird compliment, but he was basically saying maybe they were on, turned on or whatever. Here's the deal. I don't love people who are on a lot, and I have a problem with it, and Paul has to talk me into having compassion toward them.
Well, I mean, you're making that sound like it's a constant thing, and I don't think that it is.
Well, it's enough of a thing where you are oh, I think they're just nervous, or maybe they have anxiety. Sometimes I'll be okay, so I come in and I'm oh my God, this person was just not, I cannot relate to them. They wouldn't be normal. And then you're maybe they were scared. And then I'm yeah, you're right.
But look, that's sometimes because right? There are other times that you'll say that about someone, and I'll say, yeah, I can't stand that person.
Those are my favorite times, though.
Right?
When that happens.
When we really come together as a
like,
couple.
that is, like, so good. What else have we forgotten to talk about? Okay, so in pandemic news, we watched a viral video that calmed us tonight by the doctor.
Yes.
That's something we can share.
Yeah. Do you remember the doctor's
put it on
name? I didn't catch the beginning of it.
No. They didn't really put it forth so hot.
He had it on his hoodie. He's wearing a track jacket, a fleece that had his full name emblazoned on there.
He did.
And neither of us can remember what his name was.
Well, I was busy cooking dinner. But I will say...
Oh, yeah, I had important things to do, too.
I will say I also watched this morning the live Q&A with Steph Curry and Dr. Fauci.
Yes.
Slightly less informative because this doctor on the viral video, he's like on the front lines.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Fauci is more like a big picture guy. Mm-hmm. And the doctor's video was more of like a detail-oriented picture.
Right.
Right, don't you think?
Yes.
Anyway, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was very helpful and very reassuring.
One of the things that Paul and I have learned about stay safer at home or safer at home orders is that we still have completely separate lives. Like a day will go by and I will have had a completely separate daily experience than what you have had. Do you want to elaborate on that? Or other people experience?
Sounds like a trap.
No, I find it interesting, and I was talking about it today in my teletherapy session.
Yeah.
About how it's and how it's been hard for me to witness my single friends who are feeling very lonely.
Absolutely,
right now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, I feel it makes sense to me. The first few days that we were here, we spent a lot of time together in one room.
Sure.
And then there were other things that came up, like that show, and then planning other things with other people, and that sort of stuff. We took walks at separate times. It makes sense because the majority of our lives, that's what we're doing. Is that we're going out and living our day, and then we're coming back.
Separate lot, yeah.
And even though this is a small house, we're still managing. Look, all you need is more than one room. And
or I have noise canceling headphones, so I can even be living a totally different life in my headphones.
It's very true. And sometimes you are. Sometimes you do live a totally different life in there.
True.
And I'm banging on the headphones saying, "Let me in."
But I mean, I was saying today, in my therapy session, we have an advantage for a couple of reasons. One, we haven't fallen ill, with knock on wood, but I don't want to make that noise on the microphone. So we're luckier in that regard. We were told to shelter in place, perhaps at an opportune time. I don't know, unless we come into contact with it. Secondly, we do a lot of work from home things already, and that sort of has set us up well for this.
The thing that I think about a lot is how fortunate we are that this is not a crazy adjustment for us the way it is for a lot of people.
Well, because the way that our employment works, we go long stretches of time unemployed. And then we'll book a gig, and then that gig might pay for 6 months of right before this all went down, I shot a national commercial. Yeah. Which I hope it airs unless that business is folded by now. Although I
don't think you have to worry about advertising.
I know, right? They should be bailing us out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Advertising should be giving us money.
Well, so advertising is interesting because they get these huge ad budgets that they have to spend.
Yeah.
What's that about?
It's what
is that about?
Sometimes colleges will, when I used to do gigs like this.
Yeah. Oh.
You'll make crazy money at colleges because they get an entertainment budget.
And they get to the end of the fiscal year and they haven't spent it.
Yeah. And their children.
I mean, I went to a couple, maybe 3 colleges because I had a lot of unrest. That's a whole other story. We can get into the Gen X situation. But I remember like my freshman year. Oh, my friend Nicole, she would remember this. Like Little Feat came and played at my college.
Little Feat.
And like,
my God.
in like BFE, Ohio. By the way, I did not stay at that college, but I am still friends with Nicole. Who that reminds me. So a lot of my friends have embraced this app Marco Polo.
Yes.
And they want me to make videos, and I haven't really gotten into it because a lot of times when they send me videos, I'm laying down and I have a double chin. So it's not really like convenient for me.
Yeah. Marco Polo is an app you have to sit up for.
Like a lot of people must not have double chins, and they're just like firing off these video missives.
Some people don't care. Isn't that weird?
What's that like?
I wish I knew.
Can someone?
I wish I knew.
Write us and tell us. Anyway, she was like, "You guys need to binge this thing on Netflix called Tiger King." Mm-hmm. Well, we binged it.
Yeah, we finished Tiger King the other night.
Binged Tiger King.
Yeah.
So should we talk about like are people watching that? Because I feel like a lot of people
I feel like everybody's it's like on Twitter. My entire feed is about Tiger King.
There's so much to dissect.
Yeah.
What were your feelings about it?
I mean, it's like it's very telling that everyone in the movie is white. Everyone in the documentary is white. Mm-hmm. You know, it's all these.
So you think it's like a privilege? It's like a place of privilege to have like exotic, like to have your homemade zoo.
Well, definitely, absolutely, it is.
Guys, what and also like what is like I've been like debating owning a dog for 10 years. And there are like these weird like narcissistic rednecks out there that are like collecting tigers.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
And feuding with each other.
Because they're all narcissists.
Yeah, because they want to be the unique one.
Well, because narcissists like attract one another. Mm-hmm. There's like a whole thing with that. Mm-hmm. That's why so many they just like end up or they'll like
that's like the TV show Entourage. There you go.
Or they'll like prey upon like empaths or whatever.
Right.
Like that's why that one guy had that like menagerie of like women from both, and the other guy had the
menagerie of husbands
that came they were sort of vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because they were like teenagers.
But it's definitely worth watching, and it reminded me. I will say this.
Yeah.
Joe Exotic,
mm-hmm.
I believe Carol Baskin, mm-hmm. that he does not sing his own songs.
Well, I should point out to our listeners, if y'all binge Netflix Tiger King, which if you can handle watching criminal narcissists like, mishandle animals. Like David Attenborough is not narrating.
If you can watch the dumbest people who think they're the smartest people mishandling a bunch of wild animals, then you can watch this.
Then you will see that Joe Exotic has like these awesome country videos, which by the way, I love country music. The
songs are pretty catchy.
They're pretty good. And I'm like, oh, he could have totally gone to Nashville or something. And then after the thing was over, Paul turns to me and he goes, I don't think he's singing those songs. And I was like, what? Like, no, I saw him in the video. He's like singing those songs. And then it came out that one of the women he was feuding with was like, he did not
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin did not.
Carol Baskin
did not sing those damn songs. And you know what? I think like she even said the name of the guy he hired and like how much he paid them, like someone in Europe or something.
Yeah, there's a couple points where he's singing along to his own songs and the voice doesn't match.
I just thought he was like being casual and I don't know, like.
But here's the thing, this is what I feel is the strongest point in my argument.
Okay,
if he actually had singing talent,
yeah.
he wouldn't be doing all of this shit that he did.
Right. He could play rodeos. He could play like NASCAR halftime shows.
He still might, right? Like he still might do some of this other nonsense. He might still run for office like he did. But I think if he actually had singing talent, he would have been able to parlay that into being in front of an audience on a regular basis.
Well, he certainly had the personality, right? Like he could have
Yeah.
developed like a whole thing if he had that singing voice,
Yeah.
which I have now come to believe what you believe is that he didn't, which I feel like worse about that than the other transgressions he committed. Because like
Worse than taking out a contract hit on another human being. Right. Worse than destroying the
like
lives of countless wild creatures.
Okay, so basically, anyway, it was a very fascinating documentary, and I will always kind of watch train wrecks of people like that because I don't know, like I'm just so like interested in the psychology of people, but also there's something really, I hate to say it, but it makes you feel like, oh, I'm not doing so bad.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I don't have a homemade zoo in the backyard of East LA or whatever. Like, I don't even get a dog.
At the very least.
I responsibly don't even adopt a dog because my life is too unstable.
You can say that at the very least I'm a decent enough person to not have a backyard
But
zoo.
these people had like personality disorders and it was...
Oh, yeah.
It, you know, like sometimes you sit there and you're like, wow, I feel really sorry for them that they ended up in this place where they don't have any support system to kind of get out of it. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, they're just empty people.
What's really wild, though, is that the law has not clamped down on all of these people. And that's what it took for him to be in jail, Joe Exotic. He had to... What? Fair enough. I don't want to spoil it for you. But, I mean, look, the thumbnail is a mugshot of him.
Okay, fine. Whatever. Also, I found out today.
It took a different type of crime unrelated to the wild animal world for him to get arrested.
By the way, I didn't know this, but I found out today that there was a whole podcast series about these people.
I heard that after the fact as well.
And
yeah.
I'm like, how did I miss? Like, somehow I completely missed this whole thing because I would have listened to that podcast.
Do you know what else our friend Mark McConville made mention of, I saw on Twitter, is a thing that I've heard of but never seen called cat dancers.
Okay.
Which we should seek that out tonight. Maybe we'll watch that tonight.
Is that Russian circus with all the cats?
No. These are big cats, not like house cats. I know the one you're talking about. That, by the way, I remember the first time I heard about that cat circus. Mm-hmm. That's all house cats. Mm-hmm. They were on Stephen Colbert's late night show when it was new.
Oh, right.
The CBS show.
I feel like we watched that.
And they went on, and none of the cats did anything they were supposed to do. They did not complete any of the tricks that they were supposed to do. It was amazing. I hope that clip is up online.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's really worth seeing because they really do not deliver at all.
They're just not in. Do you so people that have a lot of cats, like, you know how you can get like that like toxin thing,
toxoplasmosis?
Yeah, like there have been so many times where I've been like, oh, that person has toxoplasmosis. Like and then like I've like looked up the symptoms of it like so many times and I'm like, oh my God, I think they have toxoplasmosis.
Here's a thing that you tend to do. When you learn about when you learn about a thing like this, all of a sudden you see it everywhere.
What do you mean?
I remember when the
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But what do you mean?
Like when you read up on toxoplasmosis or narcissism or what was that book? The Psychopath Test? The Sociopath Test?
Oh, I love the Psychopath Test, but also the Sociopath Next Door.
Sociopath Next Door.
Which Nicole, but by the way,
yes.
No, that shit is for real.
I'm not saying it's fake. But I'm saying
but you know what it did?
But it becomes your go-to description for whatever person you're talking about.
It's basically like reptilian scales fall from my eyes.
Reptilian scales?
Isn't that a thing? A biblical thing?
It's just the scales.
Well, are they reptilian or not? What the?
I don't think they named
Wait, what would they be if they're not reptilian?
That's
They're
a good
like
question.
Mammalian.
That's a good question.
Mammalian scales.
It might mean something in addition to.
Listen, they fall. They fall. They fall. Tell me more. Listen, you should read The Sociopath Next Door. By the way, recommended by my friend Nicole, who wants to Marco Polo me.
Shout out to Nicole. 2 recommendations. Nicole, have some patience with Marco Polo.
Oh, God.
What was I going to look up the word scales. Because
Scales
I never thought. Here's what I always thought about it.
They fall from my eyes.
When I read, what's that voice?
I don't know, but I want to pause and mix another drink. Is that cuckoo?
Don't pause. Go mix it.
Oh, okay.
We're in the home stretch, but
wait. Oh, you can you vamp?
Yes, I can vamp.
3, 2, 1. PFT vamp.
Okay. Scale. One of the many small, hard dermal or epidermal structures that characteristically form the external covering of fishes and reptiles and certain mammals, such as pangolins. Pangolins are great, by the way.
Pangolins are what gave us corona.
What?
Didn't they say pangolins or bats or some shit?
Bats. I heard bats, but I never heard that pangolins gave us corona.
I swear to God, pangolins were a part of it.
I pray that that's not true. Pangolins are wonderful. Pangolins, why'd you do that? Pangolins, I praise you 24/7, and this is how you do me? They're like they look like little dragons. They're great. A similar part in other animals, such as one of the thin, flat, overlapping structures that cover the wings of butterflies and moths. Okay. So I think in the biblical story, it was something that grew over Paul's eyes.
Oh, it was Paul?
It was St. Paul. And then on the road to Damascus, I believe, the scales. I'm sorry?
Old or new?
Testament?
Yeah.
New. Yes, honey, come on.
Okay, I get it.
St. Paul's not. He doesn't do a cameo in the Old Testament, and then what do you think? This is Star Wars prequels?
By the way, when I went to Catholic school.
Yeah, Catholic school. We both went to Catholic school.
Yeah, I only went for 10.
You went for 10 years. I went for 12 years. That's right.
And we play the Bible game.
You'd play the Bible game?
Where the nun would stand at the top and she'd be like, Apostles 15:2, and then you furiously do your.
Oh, you've told me about this, yeah.
Bible search or whatever.
Bible search, yeah.
And then you'd be like, raise your hand, me. And if you were first to find Apostles 15:2, and then you read it, you get a point.
Right.
And whoever got the most points, they got 5 points extra on their quiz.
We did not do Bible search. We barely touched the Bible when I was in Catholic school.
Did you go to church every week though, on Friday mornings?
No, we did not go to church every week. My family went to church every Sunday, but we went to church as a school. In grade school, we went to what was called First Friday. So the first Friday of every month, there would be a mass because the school was right next door to the church.
Yeah, so was ours, but we went every Friday morning. It was part of Friday. It was every morning.
Yours was a little stricter than mine.
I guess. It's funny. My family was not churchy, and I still had to go to school.
My family was churchy.
My family wasn't churchy, and they put me in that position.
Do you know what's funny? And I've told you this, that my mother became an atheist right before she died.
Yes.
And she stopped going to church. Yes. But then my mother and father did not speak to each other for years. Lived in the same house. They were married till they both died.
Very strange.
Yeah, that's one word for it.
Silent generation.
That's what. Yeah, how about it? But then after my mom stopped going to church, even though they did not go to church together, my dad also stopped going to church.
Well,
he a couple weeks later, he was like, I guess I won't do it anymore either. But never said anything to anyone.
Really?
Yeah, my mom made a big announcement. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God anymore. I'm not going to church anymore. Mm-hmm. And then a couple weeks after she stopped going, my dad stopped going.
I don't. Organized religion that's a topic for another podcast.
Yeah, imagine there isn't one, and imagine we sang a song about it. All right. Well, we should.
Hey, wait. Why didn't they ask us to?
I can't believe they didn't ask us.
They don't. My phone was on.
Yeah. Hey, we were here.
You think I went into airplane mode during the pandemic?
I know that song. We could have sung it in 2 different keys.
But I don't sing well.
Yeah. So half of the people in that video don't.
I can act it. I went to drama school, damn it.
Imagine there's no heaven.
Wait, the one...
It's easy if you try.
Well, you can sing, so you could sing it.
It's true.
I would just do it like a monologue.
That would be great, honey. We should wrap this up.
Oh, you're right.
And we should give some recommendations.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Tiger King.
Yes, Tiger King on Netflix.
It's bananas.
Yes.
It's super bananas. It's just bananas.
We were going to recommend some podcasts.
Okay. Well, all I listen to is Corona content.
No, we were talking. What were we talking about earlier? We were talking about podcast earlier, and then we were saying,
because I had a podcast called Janie and Aaron Does Hollywood.
Janie and Aaron Does Hollywood with our friend Aaron Ginsberg.
The canon is up still.
The canon is up. I have a couple of podcasts. The Pod F Tomcast, which was my very first podcast.
I love that podcast.
I haven't listened to it in years, but it's also all the episodes are still up there. I think it's 24 episodes and then some extra little mini episodes.
Yeah,
and,
that was a good showcase for you.
Thank you, honey.
And it was back in 2000 and what, like
6,
12?
I think?
No.
No. Why is that my go-to year?
It was like
anything
2011.
that happened a while ago, I always go to 2006.
It was 2011.
2011, yeah.
2006, you were living on Cherokee and I was living on Beechwood.
Don't give out our old addresses. People are going to steal our identities. What are you, some quiz on Facebook?
Lived on Cherokee and when we first started dating and there was nowhere to park and sometimes it would interrupt our courtship. I lived in a neighborhood. I lived in Hollywood, and in a stretch that was not far from Hollywood Boulevard, and it used to be just seedy. And then the biggest turning point was Ashton Kutcher opened a restaurant. Hey, Ashton Kutcher, thanks.
He opened a restaurant called Geisha at the bottom of my street.
And it was just big lips painted on a door.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those like bottle service clubs probably.
Yeah. And then the area became super revitalized with a lot of bars. Some people poured a lot of money. Like that big mall was supposed to do it.
Oh, that was my first job when I moved here. I didn't tell you about working at the Neutrogena kiosk in the Hollywood and Highland Mall.
We'll have to save that for another time. But anyway,
anywho,
the neighborhood changed.
It sure did. Don't say anywho. Anyhow. Anyha.
What if you started saying in any event?
No, that's Rana. That's Rana.
I know, that's what I was
in any event. I can't do you guys listen to Rana and Beverly? That's a podcast.
That's a great podcast recommendation. Ask Rana with Brian. It's Rana.
That's what it is. Brian and Rana, and they're so funny, and they have like a book club, the Princess Margaret, which I downloaded, but I haven't. I'm behind.
I think we can say it. I don't think she would say it, but it's our friend Jessica Chaffin, who's hilarious, plays this character called Rana Glickman.
Oh my God, I love Rana Glickman.
And Brian Safi,
who says in any event.
Brian Safi,
in any event.
Brian, who's one of the co-hosts of Throwing Shade, another great podcast. They are together on this, and it's an advice podcast where they have a guest, and it's really funny and really fun to listen to.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great recommendation for comedy podcast.
I also want to recommend a movie podcast called Two Old Queens, which is a movie and comedy podcast where two really funny comedians, John and Mark, are trying to find the gayest movie that's ever made.
What's the gayest one so far?
The gayest one so far, thanks to our friend Tony Rodriguez being a guest, is Muppets Take Manhattan. That is, as of this recording, that's still the number one gayest movie that they have because they have this algorithm. It's crazy, like all the categories and everything. It's really fun and fun to listen to.
Hey, by the way, I just did a podcast with Tony Rodriguez.
Oh yeah, the what is it called again?
It's called The Gayest Episode Ever.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
And it's like a Golden Girls episode, and I think everyone. Oh my God, it's so good. We should post that episode. I just do a couple voices. I'm not like.
But check it out.
Definitely check it out.
Tony. I also want to recommend Newcomers with Lauren Lapkus and Nicole Byer.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the two of them watching all of the Star Wars movies for the first time. And it's really fun and delightful.
You're really the person to give the podcast recommendations because
I listen to a lot of them.
You are like the consummate consumer of podcasts. Like you're a real, what do you call it? A maven or when you like kind of.
Maybe I'm a podcast maven.
Like you're really hooked in.
I try to be, yes. I try to be connected to that. I mean, I as a consumer, I really enjoy them.
Yeah.
But I also like to know. But as a creator, I also like to know what's out there, and so I'll definitely try a lot of things. But those are I think those are my
I
recommendations.
have
for the week.
nothing to offer because I'm boring. I listen to news. I listen to politics. Like, I'm just like a news junkie.
You listen to a lot of Corona news. You love it.
I love the Corona news. I love,
I love the Corona news.
I love the Corona news. I hate that it's we're peaking now. Like, we've
Mm-hmm.
exceeded Italy today.
Ugh.
Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
We have exceeded Italy, but like not necessarily per capita.
There we go. So let's hang on to that silver lining.
We're just a bigger country, and our demographics are quite different.
Yeah, we're not shaped like a boot. Get over it.
Did you know that Louisiana looks like it's shaped like a weird square boot?
I did not.
Because they're like a hot spot right now.
I
Okay, I don't want to talk Corona.
Okay, yes, exactly.
We don't talk Corona
Look,
here.
we don't talk Corona here. We talk Corona adjacent.
We're Corona adjacent.
We acknowledge it so we don't look like we're insane, but we don't talk about it.
Well, because here's the problem is that like we're freaking out just like everybody.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out this new adjustment. We're trying to find flexibility in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a little escape for us.
Yeah, and hopefully for you too.
And maybe we're drunk and maybe we're elevated.
Maybe
I
some
don't
of us
know.
are drunker than others.
And maybe some of us were sponsored by a roll of toilet paper. I don't know. But here we are, and this is what we're doing. And
Okay.
It's time.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening.
It's really, actually, I feel so connected when we do this.
Me too. It's very touching, and it makes me feel very comforted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's such a feeling of isolation right now
Mhm.
and yet it's crazy that there is a feeling of isolation because we've never, as a world, experienced something so similar simultaneously, other than like Hands Across America or something.
Last season of Game of Thrones.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And we're everywhere now. We're on all the podcast places. So wherever you like to listen, by this point, you should be able to listen how you like to listen.
We have an Instagram, we have a Twitter, and we have a dang old Gmail address.
That's right. At stayfhomekins on all the
everything.
things. Yes.
And then stayfhomekins@gmail.com.
Yeah. So well, I'm gonna put this one to bed, and then we'll see you next week.
Be well.
Stay safe. Stay inside.
Stay sane.